Hello, everybody. Let's get it. Monday, January 2nd, 2023, and this is 413 Sportstalk 474. Today, we will cover the entire weekend's worth of action, from the college football playoff to Week 16 in the NFL, in the NHL, NBA, and everything in between. Still feeling like that we are in the college football playoff mode today. I will talk to you guys about the new guys on the team. Enter the freshman quarterback. We'll go over a list of 20 of the best freshman seasons in the NCAA for quarterbacks, starting with the back half today, ending in a top 10 tomorrow. But first, we'll start the news as episode 474 begins. Need a little drink, wet the whistle. Hello. Colts quarterback Nick Foles was carted off the field after being sacked by Kayvon Thibodeau in the Giants' victory over the Colts. Playoff clinching victory, by the way. So, shout out to the Giants fans. Big Blue, G-Men. I see y'all. Georgia Bulldogs, they complete the comeback. They edge Ohio State 42-41, advance to the college football playoff final, which is a national championship, which I believe will be held at some point next week. That was like 4 arms in a row. And that will be against TCU, as a matter of fact. Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day said losing Marvin Harrison Jr. absolutely, I quote, impacted the game. And I agree with him. Honestly, you're thinking back to that matchup, and it was just it was slow in the first half. They turned up the heat in the second half, and C.J. Stroud proved to me, at least, that he's ready to lead an NFL franchise. He's ready to be drafted, and presumably he'll be the number one pick in my eyes. So, congrats to him. It was a losing effort, but you made good draft stock. I guess that's the silver lining in it. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers roll over the Minnesota Vikings 41-17, and a win in Week 18 gets us into the playoffs as Detroit's January 8th, 2023, the NFL regular season finale. At least for my team. For every team that week, actually. Tom Brady's unbelievable game. Listen to this. The GOAT was down 21-0 to Carolina. He found Mike Evans in the end zone 3 times, who caught 10 balls for 207 yards, one of the best games of his career, and finished as the Bucs get a 30-24 win over Carolina. They clinched the NFC South for the second consecutive season. And that's it for the news. Let's talk Roz's top 20 freshman season list. Starting with number 20, Dan Marino, 1979, from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I went back that far. As a freshman, Marino led the Panthers to an 11-1 record and a Fiesta Bowl victory over Arizona. Doing so during the season, throwing for 1,680 yards and 10 touchdowns. Remember, it was a different era back then. And led Pitt to the Lambert Meadowlands Trophy, given to the champion of the East. The Big East? I guess it's however they did football back then. Number 19, Jamel Holloway, 1985 out of Oklahoma. Holloway took over the quarterback job when Troy Aikman was injured. He led the Sooners to a national championship, the only freshman starter to do so. Holloway was a master at the option, and his statistics will never do justice to how good he was at Oklahoma. Let's just be real. He completed only 27 passes in his freshman season, 608 yards, 6 touchdowns. But he did complete a 71-yard pass to Keith Jackson in the Orange Bowl, which helped them beat Penn State for the title. Excuse me. Number 18, Eric Zier, 1991, out of Georgia. Zier was among the first to set the trend of graduating high school early so he could enroll in college and attend spring practice, which is strategic. He didn't get to start until the 5th game of his freshman year, and he took off, throwing for 1,984 yards and 7 tuds. Some guy named Garrison Hurst was his running back. So, yeah. The Dogs went 6-2 with Zier as their starter, beating top 10 teams Clemson and Auburn in the process. Number 17, Tommy Frazier, 1992 out of Nebraska. Unlike many on the list, Frazier didn't take over until midway through his freshman season. He did so in the sixth game and went 5-1 over the rest of the year. The Cornhuskers would lose the Orange Bowl to a stacked Florida State team, if you remember. Frazier wasn't the most efficient passer at just 44% of passes completed, but he ran that Nebraska option perfectly and accounted for 17 total touchdowns in the Big 8 championship. Number 16, Peyton Manning, 1994 out of Tennessee. Manning didn't take over his starting gig until Todd Helton suffered an injury in the fourth game of the season. From that point on, the Vols went 7-1. Only loss was to Alabama, which went undefeated that year, if you do so remember. He would only throw 11 touchdowns that season, but led Tennessee from a turnaround. They were 1-3, if you do remember, and soundly won games the remainder of the season. Number 15, Phillip Rivers, the year 2000 at NC State. Rivers was an instant success with the Wolfpack as he led the team on an 8-4 record, 4 of those wins via comeback. In his second start, he would throw for 401 yards in a win over Indiana, ending up with 3,054 yards, 25 touchdowns, and ultimately would break many NC State passing records before he graduated. Phillip Rivers was a beast in college. It gets better. Number 14, Kevin Cobb, 2003 out of Houston. Cobb was an outstanding freshman year, despite being named to the job just a day before the Cougars' first game of the 2003 season. Cobb threw for 2,131 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 picks. He ran for over 300 yards and 7 touchdowns in that year as well. In a game against TCU, he became one of the few players to ever throw for over 400 yards and rush for over 100 in the same game. Number 13, Chad Henne, 2004 out of Michigan. Henne wasn't the odds-on choice to become the Wolverines' starting quarterback in 2004, but the freshman was named for the job a few days before the opener. Lloyd Carr's decision was a good one, and Henne would compete over 60% of his passes for 2,743 yards and 25 touchdowns. Add 2 more on the ground. He would lose only 3 games that year, at Notre Dame, at Ohio State, and at Texas, and the Rose Bowl. It's young. Excuse me. Number 12, Colt McCoy. Isn't funny? 2006 out of Texas. A high school legend in the state of Texas. McCoy just kept going when he got to campus in Austin, throwing for over 2,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, completing over 68% of his passes. After his great freshman years, success continued, but size and questionable arm strength hindered his chance at a true starting NFL job. Number 11, final guy on the list today. Sam Bradford, 2007 out of Oklahoma. Bradford won the starting quarterback job in 2007. In his first game, he set a school record for passing yards and a half. Let me tell you, this dude has a fucking arm. He loves to throw deep. In his second game, he broke the school record with 22 straight completions. He set a freshman record with 36 touchdown passes. It has since been broken. He also threw for 3,121 yards and set up the hype that would win him the 2008 Heisman Trophy. Thanks for listening, and as always, please let me know what you think of this segment in the comment section. A couple days worth of research, sleepless nights, but we got it together. Excuse me, so I would like that from you if you could. Alright, here we go. NFL, Atlanta Falcons 20, Arizona Cardinals 19, Detroit 41, Chicago 10, Kansas City 27, Denver 24, Jacksonville 31, Houston 3, Giants 38, Colts 10, Patriots 23, Dolphins 21, New Orleans 20, Philly 10, Tampa Bay 30, Carolina 24, Cleveland 24, Washington 10, San Fran 37, Las Vegas 34, Seattle 23, New York Jets 6, Green Bay Packers 41, Minnesota Vikings 17, and the Los Angeles Chargers over the Rams 31-10, Pittsburgh over Baltimore, and for Monday night it was Cincy and Buffalo. That's tonight. So, that's it for professional sports. Let's talk about NCAA football. 12-31-22. We have TCU over Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl, 51-45. And as for the Chick-fil-A Bowl, Georgia over Ohio State, 42-41, as we talked about at the beginning as well. Other news, Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall, a guy who I talked about at the beginning of the year, steps out of the transfer portal and will return to school for his senior season. He will forego the draft, entered the portal as former head coach, left to take the same position at Liberty University. New coach Tim Beck and his quarterback worries are gone for now. Western Mass Sports Preview 1/2/23. Girls High School Basketball. We got Palmer at Pioneer Valley. Palmer's 3-1, Pioneer Valley's 2-2. We have 2-1 Holyoke at 1-3 Minichog. Swimming, Munson at West Springfield, Leatherwood Side Tech, and Amherst at Belchertown. The two matches at the top are at 4, and Belchertown at Amherst 4:30. Boys High School Basketball, we got Long Meadow 4-3 at 1-4 Chicopee for 3:30. 8 games tip off at 7 p.m. and they are Long Meadow at Chicopee, South Hadley at Bay State Academy, Palmer at Wacona, Hampshire at Southwick, Hoosick at East Hampton, Mohawk Trail at Mayhar, Athol at Munson, Granby at Ware, and that concludes the basketball games. For hockey, Austin Prep travels to Pope Francis at 1:30 p.m. We have McCann Tech at Mount Everett at 7, and that will conclude episode 474 of 413 Sports Talk. Raheem Escalay here. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow with episode of 475. Wow, what a big number.